She's like double no. Like triple, quadruple, like Jacob. Yeah. Right.
You're sitting right there.
That's not your yes.
Want me to blast your eardrum?
I was going to keep doing it.
I give that whistle a 6.
I get complaints when it's too loud.
Oh, okay. Put them in the complaint box with the rest of the stuff. We'll get to that. Okay, everybody, it's 7 o'clock. Thank you for attending the Racing for Recovery Support Group meeting. We are focused on maintaining a drug-free and healthy lifestyle. Since 2001, our open forum meeting welcomes parents, adolescents, recovering individuals, and anyone who supports our mission. Your suggestions, comments, or ideas are welcome to make our meetings the best they can be. The Racing for Recovery Support Group meeting is a cutting-edge alternative to what is currently offered. By combining substance abusers, families, friends, and the public at large, we have created an environment that is beneficial to everyone who has been affected by alcohol and drug addiction. We start at 7 o'clock. Please try to be on time. Please turn off and stay off your cell phones, and please only one person speaks at a time. I say this practically every week. Please speak loudly so everybody can hear what you have to say, because what you have to say is of value. We will sign any proof of attendance slips that you need us to sign. If you leave them in the green box out in the hallway, we'll sign them. You can pick them up when we're done with our discussion. The only thing we ask in here is that you're honest. That's it. Say what's on your mind, say what's on your heart, but just be honest about it. Feel free to openly share your comments and points of view on how alcohol and drug addiction has impacted your life. This meeting is open to people of all ages and welcomes diversity. So please refrain from using excessive foul language or language that discriminates against any race, gender, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or disability in order to maintain an atmosphere of respect and dignity for all who are present. If you see a visitor, a new member, or a returning member that you haven't seen in a while, please warmly welcome them into our program. And lastly, please refrain from getting up and leaving the meeting while it's in progress because it's disruptive for others who are in attendance. Who has our lifestyles of recovery?
I got it.
Go ahead, buddy.
Guidelines for living a lifestyle of recovery. The lifestyle of recovery guidelines are intended to be utilized by recovering individuals, their families, and anyone else who is striving to avoid substance abuse and achieve sobriety. Guidelines. 1. Recognizing that substance abuse ruins lives. 2. Wanting to pursue positive alternatives to substance abuse, such as our education, employment, quality relationships, and health and fitness. 3. Using resources such as friends, family, teachers, and peers as a way to achieve and remain sober. Adding sports, art, or music to these resources will help us stay focused and motivated. 4. Defining balance and working toward making it a part of everyday life. 5. Building self-esteem and confidence through sobriety to combat negative feelings regarding oneself. 6. Understanding that negative behaviors of isolation and self-pity lead to self-destruction. 7. Lifting a person up is different than allowing them to continue their destructive lifestyles. Be there for yourself and be patient with your friends and family. 8. Learning how to help without supporting the addict's behavior. Providing assistance to the recovering individual that will improve their lives, not further their usage. 9. Recognizing personal challenges and integrating them into our lifestyle as challenges to triumph over. 10. Caring for our personal, emotional, physical, and spiritual individuality is the source we use for our sense of worth. Each person is truly magnificent. Our mission at Racing for Recovery is to prevent all forms of substance abuse by promoting a lifestyle of fitness and health for all those affected by addiction.
All right. Who is here for their first ever Racing for Recovery meeting today? Awesome. Well, I'm going to need you guys to stand up right now. You're going to do a little song and dance. It'll only take about 5 minutes. No. Okay, this is what we do at all of our meetings. Probably different than what you've been accustomed to, but that's what makes us unique. Everybody's going to get an opportunity to, again, very loudly, just simply say who you are, why you're here, and possibly how we can help you. You don't have to say you're an addict or an alcoholic. It's not required here. I get it. You're probably affected by addiction, so we don't want to hear 100 people say, I'm an addict, I'm an addict, I'm an addict. That's something you did. It's not who you are. So again, we just want to hear your name and why you've chosen to join us tonight. Joe.
My name's Joe. I come here because this place inspires me. And a wise man once told me, surround yourself with people on the same mission as you. And I can't think of a better place than this room right here.
I'm Jake. I'm here because I'm going to continue doing what has helped me stay sober.
I'm Denise, Jacob's mom, and I'm here to give and get support.
I'm Jay. I'm here to help my recovery and also be with a buddy.
Awesome.
I'm Kelsey. I'm here to support my mom. I'm Nicole. I'm here to learn about sobriety.
My name's Ben. I'm here for support and to keep learning.
I'm Nikki. I'm here to support Ben, and because this place is full of genuine people who actually want to improve their lives, and it's really inspiring.
Awesome.
I'm Megan. I'm here to continue a positive day.
Bob, I just love being in this room and around all these awesome people.
I'm Mike. I come here to continue on the path of sobriety, and I'm very happy to say that I have 7 months of sobriety.
I'm Charles. I'm here to listen and participate if possible.
I'm Dean. I'm here to stay sober, support others, and be supported. I gave up my cigarettes today at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'm done with cigarettes too.
I'm David. I come to actively listen, learn, and make connections. I'm Tyler. I'm here to stay proactive in my recovery.
I'm Brian to gain perspectives on addiction.
I'm Justine. I'm just here to listen. I had a kind of rough day, so I'm here.
I'm Diana, here first time to support my daughter.
I'm Andy. I'm here to learn something new.
I'm Mike. I'm here to, everything I see in here, I apply to my relentless determination to stay sober.
I'm Matt. I'll be the one to address the big gold elephant in the room. Yesterday I celebrated 1,000 days sober. I definitely couldn't have done it without the people who decided to join me tonight and everybody in this room.
I need a quick photo of that. Sorry. I know I'm breaking our rule. Maybe I'll get fired. There you go. Go ahead. Yep.
I'm Shelby, and I'm here to celebrate the little victories and the big victories and make Matt's 1,000 days as obnoxious as possible.
Beautiful. We can do that. Yeah.
I'm Kelly, here to welcome another person into the 1,000-Day Club. I'm just amazed at the growth I've seen from him. Very proud of him.
Right on.
And everyone else that continues to come on a regular basis and put in the work. It's possible. It happens all the time, and families heal.
Absolutely.
I'm Matt, and I'm very fortunate to be here and to be around everybody because it's just a great atmosphere, and you can learn a lot, and it inspires me for sure. 1,000 days, congratulations, that's awesome.
Thanks, Dad.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. Where we at? Go over here.
My name is Cameron, and I'm just here to see your friend I miss very much.
My name is Chandler. I'm here to just continue to stay sober.
I'm Jewel. I'm here to stay sober. Emily, it's been a while since I've been here, and I'm just really, really happy to be back.
Right on.
And I'm Diane. I am Emily's mom. You all know me. And sorry, I just came from the gym, so I'm just so happy. That's all I can say. So happy to support my daughter.
I'm Juan. I'm here to see Emily's face and to be a part of the vibe that goes on in here.
I'm Tina. I'm here to support a friend.
I'm Chris, and I'm here to stay focused on my recovery.
I'm Kayla. I'm here to learn more about recovery.
I'm Mark. I'm just here to bring sight.
I'm Leanne. I'm the wife of an addict that just recently relapsed, and I've got a daughter that's got 2 years clean. And you know, I'm here to, I try to help, and I want to learn some more too to be able to help.
Who are you, and why are you here?
Oh, sorry. I'm Noelle. I'm here to support Sydney. I'm Taylor, and I'm here to support Jacob.
I'm Sydney, and I just love being here.
I'm Diane, Jake's mom.
Oh no,
And no, I'm just here to support everybody. And I've met some great moms here, and wow, it's great. They're awesome.
I'm Carrie. I come to support my brother.
I'm Kathy. I come to support my son and all these wonderful people in this room.
Hi, I'm Penny. If she's Jake's mom, I'm Jordan's mom. Actually, I'm Bobby's mom, and I'm here just to take in all the positivity.
I agree. My name's Norm, and I continue to come because I always get something out of it, and I like to, you know, pass on the message and pay it forward.
I'm Nancy. I'm Matt's mom, and I just want to say how proud I am of you. Keep working the way you're doing and reach for the stars, kiddo. I love you.
That's great.
My name is Jenny. I come because this is where I learn how to be happy.
I'm Pat. I'm here to be with my family, my friends, and for all of those who each day gain in their sobriety.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm here to support this awesome program and all these people that are working so hard to catch up with Matt's 1,000 days. And I need to hear something positive today, so it's the best place to be.
I'm Grandma. I am the grandmother of a recovering addict who will be out of jail tomorrow. We haven't seen him since January, so I'm getting excited. I'm supposed to be here next Thursday night, and I don't want anybody to laugh at me if I do something goofy when I first see him. I come here every Thursday night to get my weekly dose of hope. And so many of you people here have given me that dose of hope every week. And I'm going to have to keep coming back because I'm going to continue to need hope.
I'm Chris, and I am my mother's grandson's mother. And she stole my speech, I just want to tell you. And yeah, I'm here. I haven't been here for quite a while. knowing that tomorrow I can see my son, I'm very excited too. And I talked to him today on the phone, and the first thing he wants to do is to come here.
He's welcome.
Hi, I'm JR. I want to say congrats, Matt. I look up to you. I come here because it's a really beautiful, positive vibe.
Right on. Yep.
I'm John. I'm here to participate in my recovery.
My name is Ephraim. This is my second week here. I want to congratulate Matt, and I'm here for the simple fact that all this evidence that's in this phone.
Yeah.
That's all I need. Thank you.
I'm Trevor. I'm here for sober support, and it's my second time here, and just to gain a little bit of knowledge of everybody else's story.
I'm Stefan. I just want to say congratulations, Matt. You're awesome. I come because I want more than to just be clean. I want sobriety, and with sobriety, anything is possible. I come for the people because it's just a great environment. You can feel the love in the air when you just walk in, and it's a great place, so I keep coming back.
I'm Stacy, and I'm really thankful to be here. It's been a few weeks since I've been here, and the hope and the awesomeness here is undescribable and wonderful.
I'm Tanner, and I'm here because it's the place I belong right now. A lot of people have mentioned like the positive atmosphere, warm atmosphere, friendliness. You mentioned this place is unique. All that stuff, that's the crap that keeps me healthy and sober, so that's why.
I'm Frank. Congratulations, Matt. Proud of you. Came a long way. I'm here to listen, learn, and to get support.
I'm Joe. I'm here because my leg wasn't working.
I'm Steve. I'm here to stay on the right track.
I'm Dave. I'm here to support my son, Steve.
Jeff, alcoholic addict. I'm here to take advantage of everything that's offered.
I'm Randy. I come here because it restores my hope in the human race.
I'm Brian. I'm here to support my brother Michael and anybody else who needs it.
I'm Esther, and I'm here to support my son, Michael.
I'm Michael, and I'm here just because of inspirations like Matt. We don't talk much, but he's a huge inspiration to me. Jeff, wherever you're at, Jordan, Jake, it's just so many. Mike, it's just great being in the same room. Brendan, Todd, of course. I mean, you guys are just huge inspirations to me, and I just keep coming because you all give me hope.
Rachel.
I'm Rachel, and I'm here because I enjoy seeing great things happen here, and I'm inspired every single day by all of you.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm here today because I value my life.
I'm Rick. I'm here to support this wonderful program and the people in it in memory of my son Jacob, and I keep coming every week to keep experiencing the goodness.
I'm Derek, and I'm here for support and direction.
I'm Dana. I'm here to gain perspective and to rebalance.
I'm Julie. I'm here to support my son Joe and everybody in the program, and this is where we first started to heal and have some hope.
My name is Bill, and I'm here to support Joe and everybody else in this room. And I just want to pass on the message that there is hope out there in this room every day.
Hi, my name is Gail, and even though we lost our daughter to an overdose, there's a lot of hope in this room. There's a lot of healing that we've done since we started coming here. I'm just so pleased to see the growth in everybody, and the number of people that have reached out to me offline through Facebook that have opened up conversations that they're struggling with somebody in addiction and they need help, and I'm referring them all here. So you may be getting some calls.
Rachel will be happy to answer that.
Hi, I'm Bruce. I'm here to learn and provide whatever support I can.
Hi, I'm Ron. I'm here to support Racing for Recovery and to support everyone else in the room.
My name's Sandy. I'm the mom of 2 adult addict sons in recovery. We've been coming to this program for years, and we've been to hell and back like a lot of you family members, but I just want to encourage you to just keep coming back to this meeting. It's going to help carry you give you some strength and hope.
Sandy, can you say how many years you've been coming?
15.
Yeah. And one more thing, and your sons are
Doing
good.
well. Great.
Good. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
I'm Scott. I'm here because I'm grateful to be sober.
I'm Gail. I guess I'm last. I don't know what that means. That's good or bad. I haven't been here for a long time. I'm happy to be here. A lot of familiar faces, people I love. A lot of unfamiliar faces that people I'm very happy to see. Hope to keep coming. This is a great place to be. Catch you later.
Grandma, don't get jealous.
I was a little worried.
My name is Marcus, and I come here because this is really the first place I've ever been that has given me a voice. And I never knew how powerful that could be, letting people get to know me instead of shutting everybody out. And I feel like my week's not complete if I don't come. And of course I'm coming to get a hug from Grandma.
My name's Tracy, and I'm here because not only grown-ups are invited, kids are too.
I'm Emily, and I'm here because Racing for Recovery gave me that. That's awesome.
My name's Quentin. I'm here to celebrate with everyone here for Matt's 1,000 days. That's awesome. Congrats, dude. Thanks, man. One of the things I wanted to say also was I feel like I've seen more success come from this meeting than any other meeting I've ever been to. And that was one thing that, like, you know, first being introduced to this meeting caught my eye, was the success I saw versus the other meetings I've been to. And I've been coming here for about 3 years or so, and the amount of success I've seen come out is just unreal.
Good point.
I'm Ross. I'm here to stay sober and to celebrate Matt.
I'm Mary. I am Matthew's aunt, and I have watched him since he was little grow up. I've seen him at a low point. I've watched him climb that hill. I'm here to say woohoo!
I'm Sue, and I'm Matt's grandmother. And I'm here to tell him how proud I am of him.
I'm Keith, and I'm known as Papa, but he's still my buddy.
My name is Kevin. I'm a proud recovering addict. I'd like to congratulate my man here. 1,000 days is a long time, 10 minutes. You know, it seemed like forever, so 1,000 days is an accomplishment. I'm here because an amazing person brought me here. Her name's Leanne, way over in the back over there. But I'm proud to be here. I'm thankful to be here.
Yeah, great.
My name is Carrie, and I'm here to support my husband, Rob.
I'm Rob. I'm here to continue to find a way forward.
Jordan.
I'm Jordan, and I'm here to work on balance, make myself better every day, and apparently figure out who the heck my mom is.
I got your
back. It's okay.
I'm Skylar, and I'm here to support my dad. I'm Allie. I'm here to listen and to learn.
I'm Bailey. I'm here to give support.
My name is Gavin. I'm here for knowledge and to remember what I'm working for.
I love that.
I'm Brendan. I'm here to count and terrorize Todd. I'm here to learn something new.
I got
Finally.
something new. I'm Todd Crandall, and I'm grateful just to be a part of this group. It's the only thing I really do here during the week is with respect to these meetings, and I'm just overwhelmed with what's transpired of sitting here for 17 years watching, as Quentin said, I love seeing that and all the success. This is where the magic happens. So if you're struggling, keep coming in here so you can, we'll set up the balloons for you when you have 1,000 days, because that's available to anyone who walks through those doors, anytime. Who has Dee's poem, The Answer?
The Answer by Donald D. Carr. Running from the misery, trying to escape the pain, as I approach the light of hope that lies before me. Each step overwhelms me, every breath sears my throat. I ache, my body rebels against me. My memories torment me, agony has become my closest companion. My demons mock me as I dangle helplessly above the abyss of alcohol and drug abuse. The voices all sound the same, criticizing, accusing, blaming me for what has happened. They don't understand. They don't care who I am. I'm a human being full of thoughts and feelings. I'm worth saving. Just show me the way. At last, I reach the light of promise. There stands the answer. Open arms, understanding smiles, looks of trust. And so it begins, Racing for Recovery.
Okay, for those new people that came in here tonight, thank you for choosing to spend your evening with Racing for Recovery. You can tell by the introductions, this program is open to anybody who wants to come in here. Any conversation is applicable here. We don't do war stories. I want to stress that. I could care less how much you drank and how much crack you smoke. There is no trophy for it. I don't want to hear about it. We want to focus on how you overcame that and how awesome it is to live without it. But the train wrecks, save it. We don't do it. We get it. Everybody's gotten all banged up. Let's move it forward and celebrate the goodness of recovery. We do a lot of other things here. If you need an alcohol and drug assessment, counseling, educational groups, yoga, spirituality, soul core, nutrition stuff, exercise stuff, this is a balanced, holistic lifestyle, and we do it every day here. So do more than just come here on Thursday night. Before we get started with a couple of topics tonight, I do want to, I guess this can bring humility and grace to start the meeting with. Dan's not here tonight because he's out spreading his dad's ashes. So keep him in your thoughts. And Gail, she's like a second mom / old girlfriend, good friend of mine. She's going through some medical stuff that she may or may not want to talk about, but please keep your thoughts in her good care because she is an awesome woman and I just want the best for her. It's great to have you here. Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. I jotted down a bunch of stuff to do tonight. Brendan said he wants to get something new, so I'm going to try and do that. Seeing Matt with 1,000 days and knowing him the way I'm fortunate enough to do, there's a common theme with people that get 1,000 days and are living. Someone said it earlier. They said there's a difference between not using drugs and actually living. That's it. Okay? You get that by being consistently active in here. If you think you're going to come in here on just Thursday nights and do nothing else, best of luck to you. That's 1 hour of the week. The people that have it, that you can see, that radiates from people, learn what they're doing, and consistency is one of those things that's in there. So let's talk about the benefits of consistency, and I also want to throw in there, I want to talk about compassion. And how are you applying it to yourself? And how have you learned what the other side of addiction is going through? Because that's not only having empathy, but you're showing compassion when you can take the time to learn, if you're a substance abuser, what the family is going through, and if you're a family member, how you've learned what really it's like to live life the way that we do. So we're talking about consistency, compassion for self, and for others tonight. Don't everybody go at once. Yes, ma'am?
I'm a family member, and I feel like learning the other side was difficult for me. I don't smoke, I don't really drink, so I don't really know any form of addiction. And to have my younger brother struggle and go through what he went through, which was pretty horrific, was hard. And learning how to not blame yourself, because there's so many times where you're like, maybe I could have done more, maybe if a conversation had went a different way. I think it's really easy for your family members to put on yourself, but learning that it's not about you and accepting that is huge. And my brother will be 15 months sober on Saturday, and for us, like, when he finally decided to get clean, we learned each other's communication. Like, for him and I, complete transparency is what works. Like, I'll ask him a question and he tells me the truth, and if he asks me a question, I tell him how I feel, and it just kind of helps mend those fences and bridge those gaps. It helps me understand, and even now, we still have some pretty deep conversations about things that have happened, or how he's feeling, or if I feel like he's teetering up a line, which isn't necessarily true, but some of his behaviors kind of remind me of worse times. And but I just feel like you just have to be open and honest with each other, and you just have to come to terms with the fact that, like, regardless of what your loved one's going through, it's not your fault. And until they decide for themselves that they want to do better, you can't really do anything for them.
Wow. Well said. Joe?
No. Good. I'll hang out this time. Thanks, though.
Gail?
Yeah, one of the things that is with Lauren passing away unexpectedly, never got closure, never got to see her get through all of this. But as I'm talking to individuals here, you're giving me a closure that, I couldn't have done any more than I did. She had to want it, she had to do it. Even some of her friends have reached out to me who are struggling with addiction, and they said they want to do it for Lauren, and they can't believe want to be a part of their recovery. And that all goes into helping me heal and to have compassion for another person. It's not Lauren, but I'm living through them vicariously for Lauren. So.
I lied, I do want to talk.
Go ahead.
When you're talking about consistency, one of the things that helps me with my consistency is also having a group of people supporting me. Both my friends and my family. I was talking about this last night. If I'm having a bad day, I know one of my friends is going to pick me up. And I know if my friend's having a bad day and I'm having a bad day, someone else is going to pick us up. So I think being able to really connect to a group of people, which I think goes back to being transparent with everyone and not putting on a front or anything, that really helps me. If one of my friends isn't there to support me, whether they're busy or something, I have a whole group that I can rely on. So just that helps me stay consistent and keep moving forward, because I know that I've got people that I have my back no matter what, 110%. And I don't know if I told all of you lately, but I appreciate each and every one of you. So,
Jordan.
Consistency is definitely important, and one thing that really helps me is accountability. And like, for a good example, last night Jake called me because I wasn't home and it was coming up on 11 o'clock.
He's your mom.
Yeah, that's my mom. I'm normally home by like 9:30, so and I was doing something proactive. I was with Jeff and Bobby, and we were out seeing Ashley Kelly live, and it was just nice to know that, like, somebody was like checking on the clock and said, you know what, Jordan's not home. Wow. Like, that's not normal. That's not what he's consistently been doing. And pick up the phone and call him, and that was something that really helped, especially at this time. Like, I had already told him, after we go on a big trip or something like that, and this is like a rough time for me, and this is the longest amount of sobriety I've ever had.
Yep.
And I asked him to hold me accountable and constantly ask me how I'm doing and check in with me, and he did. And that's a big part of what keeps me going.
Good stuff. Jake?
Well, that's what consistency did. Like, my sister drove from California to see me, so. Wow. Okay, that's not true. I'd like to think that is. Right, she's here. So, but no, like, consistently doing, like, being here, talking to my peers, doing whatever makes me feel good on the inside is why I'm where I'm at today. Like, if I kept on putting on that front of hiding how I was truly feeling like I was my whole entire life, I probably wouldn't feel the joy I do today. And I'm finally not that angry kid anymore. Like, I remember being with my sister in California and she kicked me out. And she kicked me out for good reasons, to where I didn't listen and kind of like spilled beer all over her couch and everything, and things escalated quickly. So I was tossed out for a week until I got a flight home, and I didn't really think about like how she was feeling at that time, because all I cared at that time was me, but she was probably really hurting, like seeing me go through that and not being able to do anything about it. So I'm happy I can show her the other side.
Marcus?
Yeah, I just would like to, about the consistency, I'm in another facility, and as I'm getting farther along, I'm getting a lot more free time, and I would love to spend that free time out here. And if there's anybody willing to help me get here with rides, I'll be able to get gas money and things. And please give me your number after the meeting.
Why don't you just call us and we'll make sure we get you here too. All right? Yeah, but if you want to help out with that, please do. Yeah. Randy?
I had to pull up the dictionary to get this definition, and it's awesome. And I think consistency is the secret to success in everything in life.
Yep.
But this definition, to me, nails it. A condition of adhering together. Here we are.
Yeah.
Firmness of material substance, that's science, but, you know, firmness of constitution or character, persistency. Consistent persistence to a principle. It says it all. I look at Kate and I think, wow, that's what I think of you, Marcus. You can see it when you keep coming, you change. I think about my kid who died of an overdose. She would come here and she'd get all inspired, and then she'd take off, do drugs again. She just had to do it one more time and she died from it. But it's that rigid consistency, persistence to a principle.
Yeah.
And you get through it, and that's inspiring.
Talking about consistency, the last week that's kind of been something that I've been learning. It's been my lesson. I've been having troubles with cravings and stuff like that. Last night I was listening to a guy's story at a meeting that I was at, and that was something that kept me away from meetings, is hearing people's stories. I hate war stories. It makes me get in my head and think about my stories and the times that I had using. And I've just been consistently saying no. Like when he was reading the definition, that really struck me, because that's what I've been doing. That's how you stay clean, is to consistently say no to those cravings and the dreams and stuff like that. And I was so proud of myself last night. I've never been able to walk out of a meeting in that situation and not use. This time I did for the first time. In so many years that, you know, even when I was younger using marijuana and stuff, I was never able to say no. And I finally learned that with consistently saying no, I can do anything. Just keeping my mind to it and not giving in. So with that, I pass.
Penny.
A few meetings ago, I had said there's one thing that I love when my son is sober, and it's the sound of sobriety. You know, just the chatter in the house and things like that, like it's monumental. It's monumental. I mean, just hearing my granddaughter laughing with my son laughing with her, like, it gives me chills right now when I think about it, because it's things you take for granted every day, like the sound, you know, but when you really listen, you hear phenomenal things. You really do. Like, it's just, to me, it's amazing. Like, even my son playing with the dogs, you know, like, it's, you know, or him yelling, Buster, get out of here. You know, it's just like him again. And I just love the sound of it, and I hope that sound continues. So, I hope it continues, and I know it will. I know it will. We gotta keep those sounds alive. I love it.
Emily, before you go, you know, Randy, when you were reading that, the persistent to a principle, think of what we're doing when we're using. The principle is I gotta get loaded on whatever crazy substance we're doing, and we are persistent and consistent as all get out to do that. So conceptually, we're all fairly intelligent people here. There's, right? There's so that's sarcasm, in case you didn't know. When you flip that into self-betterment, you get 1,000 days and more of a life. And when I think of the principle, being persistent to a principle, if you just have the notion that you're done with one thing, i.e. drugs, it opens up the world is your oyster of whatever that principle wants to be. And that's where our slogan is. With sobriety, anything is possible. That principle is including it's health. It's having your family back. It's at some point getting a job, not 2 days into recovery. At some point. Education, building a support system, as Joe was talking about, exercise, whatever it is. The principle is bettering self. Why? Because you deserve it and you want it. You want to find self-worth. That's the principle. But again, if you're not consistent in doing this, somebody please explain to me then how you're supposed to consistently live it, which is exactly what you're coming here and asking us to do for you, which we're willing to do. But then you got to take it and actually do something with it. It's like when you buy drugs, you don't buy drugs and just sit there and stare at them and expect to get high. You fire that stuff up or whatever it is you do to get it in you. This is no different. You have to take the information and see what other people are doing and actually do it. And when that is applied, holy cow, look out, because it is one hell of a ride that is never ending. Never ending. You don't get to a point and you're like, I'm cured, I got this, I don't need to do anymore. If that is starting to get into your head, you are in desperate trouble. I pray to God I never think that way. I'm just always living in, holy crap, I get to do this, and what's next? What's next? What's next? This is awesome. That was cool. What are we doing tomorrow? Just this way, going forward in a productive manner. And if you hit an obstacle, that's where you utilize everything you've been working on to sustain that sobriety and get through that obstacle. You don't go, oh my God, I had a slip and I ended up with a crack pipe in my hand. There's no snow on the ground right now. There are no slips. There's no relapses. It's a cognizant choice every day to stay in the game of sobriety, period. And then you get stuff like that. I'm just staring at those gold numbers and I'm like, yeah. I want to put a couple of zeros on that someday for myself, let alone what Matt's going to do. I want this for me too. That's why I'm consistently sitting in here. Emily, you're on.
So you kind of said pretty much everything I was going to say, but I'll just kind of like bullet hit what you were saying, like what I was thinking. Like, so I just think about like Matt, and like I think a lot of us, if not all of us, are inspired, right? Inspired. So that's something that Matt's giving to us. And it's good. It's a good thing. I'm sure the folks that went to Colorado were inspired when they saw you cross the finish line. And inspiration's awesome, but that's what we got from you guys. differences between, like, to create consistency is we have to take that inspiration and turn it into influence. So, like, when I leave here at, well, used to be 8:01, might be like 8:31, depending on how long people like me talk. It's what my choices that I make, the environment that I create, the people I hang out with, the things that I think about, the things I teach my kids, that inspiration I see makes me make choices that influence my whole world. And so I want to not only be inspired, but I'm influenced by this. And this is like, I mean, to me, I feel like that's the consistency, it's the action behind it, which is exactly what you just said. But I think about like that inspiration, like that you were just talking about, Randy, like it's awesome, it's a good thing. Like we can't bottle that up. I mean, that's not true. We can bottle it up and take it with us, but we do it through the choices we make. And that's, I want to be inspired, but like you influence me. Like you are an example of what it means to live your life. Like it's positive, like that. It's just so awesome, and it's just crazy we're talking about this today because this is the second conversation I had on this topic today. So yeah.
You're up.
I think one of the biggest things I learned from the other side of things was that people are typically programmed to enable and help the addict in the wrong ways naturally, and that's just when they don't know that it's not helping the situation. But I didn't realize, the biggest thing I didn't realize was that how far every little action I made in addiction, how far it rippled out throughout the family. Like, I may have done something crazy to my mother, not knowing that that's going to affect my grandmother, my aunt, my sister. Like, everybody's obviously going to hear about it eventually, but just the way it fans out and everybody ends up being affected by it, and my son and whatnot, it just, I didn't realize the impact of the slightest decisions I was making, how big it changed the game every time I decided to do that. And then with consistency, I feel like consistency is the most important when it's the hardest. It's easy, it was easy for me at first to come in for month after month, day after day, to do as much and everything I could. But I'll be honest, about 8-9 months in, I was getting tired of it. And I was like, is this what it is? And it just ended up being a wall. I got over it, but I forced myself because I always take people's advice. Primarily, Todd has never steered me in the wrong direction once, so I really hold value in every suggestion he makes. And he told me, you just can't cut off everything completely. I asked him his opinion on where I was and if it was okay for me to back down. He said a little bit, but just don't disappear, basically. So even though I maybe didn't want to keep coming every time, I forced myself at least to have some type of consistent contact with this place. And eventually it got over, because kind of like what Penny was saying, I came in thinking that, like, I've heard it all before. It's all the same stuff being said the different way, and that's just my mindset, how it got jumbled up like that. And it turns out like I just wasn't listening anymore because I thought that's what was happening. And once I opened my ears again and started listening to the stuff that was saying, I actually started to learn a lot more stuff, even on the same topics. And it really expanded everything that I was, thought I knew. And I continued to learn that way more and more. And it was just an obstacle that, I pushed through it, and like, I don't think like that anymore. It hasn't come back to bite me in the butt or nothing yet, so, I'm just gonna keep going with it. And even when I'm in a room and the same stuff does on the occasion get brought up, like, I have to think like, this is the way I think about it. It's not always for me, like when I come in here. like maybe I'm just meant to be in the room because somebody else doesn't know what I know, so they're gonna hear it, it's gonna change their life, and maybe I can connect with them because then they have somebody to look up to. Like, I've been through that situation. Like, I can come over here and talk to you, and then we could turn around and be best friends. I mean, you never really know the impact of what you say and how it's gonna affect somebody. So those are the things that I look forward to, and you just always can learn something from everything and everybody at any moment.
That's why I come here. I have 4 kids, but then I feel like I have a bunch of other kids too. That's awesome. Matt, I'm staring at those numbers, and I think when you talk about consistency, I'm looking at day 1. And I remember, and I want you to share this, because you had said when you encountered us at Zeph Center, a conversation that was going on, and we'll call that like day 1, but like what that did on day 1, and then what you've like consistently been doing to get the 1,000.
So you want me to explain like what happened on day 1?
Yeah.
All right, so I was eating lunch down in the cafeteria, and this is when IOP for Racing for Recovery was Todd and one client. And I saw him and that other client walking through the cafeteria laughing and having fun and smiling, and it looked like they were happy. And I was just like, man, I feel miserable right now. I want that. What do I gotta do to get it? So I went through the channels, through Zeph, talked to the right people. I said, I want to be put into Racing for Recovery's IOP. So on the 10th day, I started learning new ways to love myself again. And obviously that first step was on the first day to respect myself, to put the drugs and alcohol down. But when it came to the consistency, for me it was like, okay, how can I fail if I'm consistently doing this?
That's right.
You know, because if I'm consistently doing it, I'm not stopping. You know, I'm going all the way. I know, and I kind of like just held to that. Like if I just keep working on myself, keep doing what I learned in the beginning that keeps me sober, and do that forever, then I can't fail. And it's just, it's not reaching a point of success. It's just my whole life is going to be success.
Beautiful.
And you know, then came the rest of these days and all of this. You know,
that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because I think a lot of times, and especially somebody who's newer, and I know there's some newer folks in here, you look at that and you're like, oh my God, that's awesome, which it is. Don't forget how it started. Day 1, he saw other people and said, I want that. That's what I did. There's another example of what Matt did. That's how it goes. On day 1, it's I'm done. Holy cow, that looks awesome. And then get up and go ask them how they did it. And then here's a thought, start doing it. And then you get that. So don't just focus on the 1,000. Understand how the 1,000 came to fruition. And it started at number 1. And then consistently doing what Matt's been doing. I love that. That was awesome. You're on, Mike.
So in my introduction, I mentioned some names. Them names were here my first day. They were here on my second day. Those guys were here on the third day. And that first week made the difference for me. Like, I didn't even know what I wanted, had no idea what I wanted, but whatever these guys were doing is what I wanted. And they're still here. All them guys are still sitting in these rooms, still. They were here before I got here, and they're still here. People like Matt, Jordan, and Jake. Jake came up to me, spoke to me that very first night. I'll never forget that. It made me feel welcome. I mean, it's just, you want to talk about consistency. These guys are doing it when I got here, and they're still doing it. And yeah, I've learned from people that came and went, you know. I've talked to people that or left and came back, because I wanted to know what they did, because I'm not doing that.
That's right.
You know, so I learned from everybody here, but I guess I got to talk about softball, because these guys that I mentioned are all out there, man, and we can't play. We suck. You know what? It's not about that, though. It's a unity out there. It's sharing the suck. You know, we're out there getting hurt together, sweating together, losing together. And it's not even about winning, man. It's just about my picture over there that's got one eye. You know what I mean? And that's an inspiration. You know what I mean? Jordan, he can hustle out in outfield, kind of. Not really. But it's fun, man. And I'm surrounded by people that was here when I got here. You know, my family's still here. They're still coming to every meeting. And if I want to or not, they're bringing me here. You know, so if anybody out there wants to know what I'm doing what I saw other people doing. And, you know, I didn't come to 18 IOP sessions. Matter of fact, today, not that I'm counting, but today was 98 IOP sessions. I still don't have this. I still come in there and learn something every day from people like Todd and Matt and AJ and my peers around me. Every day I learn something. And, you know, this week got tough. I ran into something, I'm not going to get into the details, but I ran into one of life's hardships that we're not immune to. I didn't have to use over it. I practiced things that I kept hearing and hearing. And you know what, life's hardships aren't quite as bad when you're not all banged up, as AJ puts it. You know, like I got through it, I'll get through it. And the fact that I was in this building doing the things that got me sober and kept me sober, help was right there. Like, all I had to do was reach out and say, hey man, I'm struggling. And opportunities opened up. I mean, you know, what normally would take weeks happened in a day, and I got the help I needed, and I'm right back on track. You know what I mean? So, anybody wants to know what we doing, that's what we're doing. We're doing consistently being here, consistently doing the things that were taught to us, you know? And then when we're not here, we're on the softball field, consistently getting beat up out there. And it's fun.
Stop bringing the beating up part.
Well, I'm not blaming the coach, Jay. We have fun doing it, though. Good people, man. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Ray should really get it.
Juan, go ahead.
We're good at getting mercied.
That's so good.
Go ahead.
Well, I like losing with my friends too. I'm just saying. You know, you're talking about compassion, and oh, thank goodness for it. You know, when I don't have compassion, I'm self-righteous and pretentious, and I'm judgmental, and that blocks me off from building relationships and connections, and I don't like that. I don't like feeling closed off to people and the possibility of not being able to build a relationship with people. But it's so cool to hear you talk about influence. If I'm consistent about putting what I've learned into my life, that influence and the compassion, you know, being consistent with loving somebody through their hardships, holding space for somebody, not just when they're up, but when they're down, and them seeing that they don't got to be afraid, that they can call, that they know that they're loved. You know, I think about that, and that's what I wanted. You know, I think about what I wanted and what I want and what I need in my life, and I try to put that in place for other people. You know, because I remember what it was like. I remember what it was like, and I don't want to ever feel like that again. And I don't want anybody to feel like that. Compassion is such a powerful part of my life, along with empathy. You know, the two go together for me. You know, I'm looking to understand where somebody's at instead of trying to judge where they're at. If I don't know, then I need to ask. You know, and I need to be open-minded and have an open heart to try to help somebody get through what they're going through before I try to judge that whatever's going on for them. If I'm not willing to help, then I need to step away and not talk about it. You know, but because I don't like how that feels either when I'm belittled or made to feel stupid. You know, I'm not stupid, but I am ignorant to a lot. I'm ignorant, which means I just don't know sometimes. So please teach me if I don't know. You know, and that's part of compassion. I love to feel like somebody's compassionate towards me as well. But thinking about, you know, Emily here with us tonight, you know, like without compassion and her feeling like that she could come into this room and receive love from everybody in here who has witnessed everything, I'm not sure she would have walked back in, right? You know? And she came in here and she sat down and she cried. And those weren't tears of sadness, they were tears of joy. Because she felt loved and safe. And that's magic. That is magic. You know, the world beats us up for what we did. You know, we don't need to beat each other up for it. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing that this has taught me. I've come from the bottom, so I understand the bottom, and now I get to give back to the bottom, because I'm not interested if, you know, I don't know if you've heard it, I'm not interested if you stood with the greats, I'm interested if you sat with the broken. That's how I feel about it, you know. I never want to forget that. I never want to forget that, because there's another Juan out there, there's another Emily, Tina, there's another Todd waiting to talk to Todd, you know. And I want to have that open heart. I'm just consistently trying to listen to my heart, build my heart so it can guide me true based on what I feel my success is. I measure my success on everybody else's success. What they had, what they didn't have. If they had a nice car, a nice house, a nice job. I had a nice car. It didn't make me happy. I had a nice job. I had a lot of money. It didn't make me happy. You know, my success is built upon my happiness and my security, and my well-being. And that's a beautiful thing, because I wasted a lot of time trying to chase your happiness instead of my own, you know. And I needed to understand. I needed to have compassion towards myself, to let go of what I went through, to understand what I want to have based on what my heart's telling me. And that's a beautiful process, consistently going about that. I feel so happy. Even when things are bad, I'm grateful for it, because I get an opportunity to build some character. And the next time I face that hardship, I got a lesson to teach my son and other people, you know, through my example and influence, like you said. Man, this is a great process. You know, don't stop, just don't stop. I got 30 months and I'm not nowhere near where I hope to be, but I'm way better than I was. Life's good. I get to tuck my son in at night. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you.
It's 8 o'clock, so quick, and then Jordan go.
Wow, that's all I can say, wow. I agree, again, as a mother, I don't know what's going through you, but from this process, I learned to have compassion, because I was always angry. I didn't understand, I did not understand, and people that don't do drugs don't understand, but going through this, I do. She left, I'm sure she's with the girls out there, she's outside. But she's 35 days clean today, so I give her credit for that.
I've shared this before, but I think it's important, especially for new people, to share what we were thinking and going through day 1, day 10, and whatnot. And like when I first got sober, I was incarcerated, so I didn't know anything about recovery or anything like that. And just in the beginning for me, when I was getting ready to get released, even though my mom said, no, you can't come stay with me, I knew that there was a chance like I could talk her into it. Because if I told her I had no options, I would be there. And I started looking into living facilities, and you know, knew right off the bat if I went home what I would do eventually. And it was with people like Jake and you know, some of the other guys I looked up to when I first got to Zeph that brought me here and taught me all the things I know now that's consistently keeping me sober. And just wanted to like share that, because I know there's a few new people in here that really are looking for direction.
Jake, you're going to read your thing? Before Jake reads our poem, we've been doing this a lot, and Brendan usually reminds me of this. He did. Meet somebody new. If you haven't met somebody in here that you don't know, get up, go over, and meet them. Like, can you stand up? And you are again who?
Diana.
That's a mom that needs some help, okay? So moms, family members, wherever, there's your go-to thing. But meet somebody new, introduce yourself, and come back and join us again soon. Jake, go ahead.
Autobiography in 5 short chapters by Portia. I walked down the street, There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am hopeless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I am in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It takes a long time to get out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. I walk down another street.
Thanks for coming, everybody. That's great. I'm